All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're diving into a huge challenge that pretty much every big company faces. We're going to pull back the curtain on something called PI planning. It's a key part of the Scaled Agile Framework. You'll hear it called SAFe, and it's all about one thing, getting everyone, and I mean everyone, moving in the exact same direction.
So let's just start with this question, right? Think about it. You've got, say, 100 people, maybe way more, spread across 10, 15 different teams. They're all smart, they're all working hard, but how in the world do you get them all rowing in the same direction at the same time? It sounds almost impossible, doesn't it?
And for a lot of big organizations, that chaos isn't just a hypothetical. It's Monday. You've got all these brilliant people on different teams, and they are busy. They're shipping code, they're closing tickets, they're doing stuff. But when you zoom out, without that one shared goal, it all just looks like a tangled mess. It's a ton of motion, a ton of activity, but it's not actually alignment. And that is the exact problem we're talking about today.
Okay, so how do you untangle that knot? Well, in the SAFe world, the answer is this really powerful, really focused event. It's called Program Increment Planning, but you'll pretty much always hear it called PI planning. And its whole reason for existing? To create that alignment that's so often missing.
So what is this thing really? The best way to think about it is like a big 2-day planning summit. It happens on a super regular rhythm, like clockwork. Its whole job is to be the heartbeat for what SAFe calls the Agile Release Train, which, by the way, is just a fancy name for a big team of Agile teams all working together. And the goal of these 2 days? To get every single one of them locked in on the same mission.
And I love that heartbeat analogy because it's so true. This isn't just another meeting that could have been an email, No way. It's the steady, reliable pulse that the entire group of teams relies on to actually deliver valuable stuff again and again and again.
So, what's the secret sauce here? What makes this thing actually work? Well, it really boils down to 4 key ingredients. First, it's cadence-based. That means it happens on a predictable schedule, creating that rhythm we talked about. Second, it's all about face-to-face communication. You get everyone in the same room or, the same giant virtual room for that high-quality conversation. Third, it's synchronized. This is huge. All the teams are planning at the exact same time. And finally, and maybe most importantly, it's all built around a common mission. Everyone is there to rally around the same big picture objectives.
Okay, so that's the why. But what does it actually look like? What happens during those 2 days? I know the full agenda can look a little intimidating, but honestly, it all boils down to this really simple but powerful cycle. It's all about taking that big, fuzzy vision and turning it into a real, concrete commitment that every single team buys into. So, this cycle really has 4 big moves. First up, leaders set the context. They get up and explain, here's where the business is at and here's where we need to go. Then the magic really happens in the team breakouts. This is where each team rolls up their sleeves and figures out their piece of the puzzle. After that, we have the review and adjust phase. Teams show their draft plans to everyone else, get feedback, and spot problems. And then it all leads to this amazing moment of truth, the final commit. The whole group does a confidence vote to see if everyone truly believes in the plan they just built together.
All right, so you get through 2 pretty intense days of planning. What do you actually walk away with? What's the output? Well, it really comes down to 2 super important artifacts. These are the things that take all that talk about alignment and make it real and visible. First up, you've got the program board. And honestly, if you're looking for where the magic of PI planning really happens, this is it. This is where all that alignment suddenly becomes something you can see and touch.
What this board does is it gives you a bird's-eye view of the entire plan. You can literally see what every team is working on and in which iteration they plan to do it. But here's the most important part. You see those lines connecting the work between different teams? Those are the dependencies. And seeing those before you even start writing code. Oh man, that is an absolute game changer. It's how you stop problems before they even start.
Okay, the second key outcome is the set of PI objectives. If you think of the program board as the how and when, then the PI objectives are the what. They're a simple, clear summary of what each team is actually committing to accomplish.
Now here's a really smart and kind of crucial detail. There are actually 2 kinds of objectives. You've got your committed objectives. This is the stuff the team is basically saying, yep, we're signing up for this. We believe we can get it done. But then they also identify uncommitted objectives. Now these aren't just wish list items. This is real work they've planned for, but maybe there's a big risk or a major dependency they don't control. By calling it out, they're not making a promise they can't keep. It's a fantastic way to build a realistic buffer right into the plan.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second. Why on earth would a company invest all this time and money to get 100+ people together for 2 full days? The answer is pretty simple, actually. The business benefits you get from this kind of deep alignment are just huge. And we're talking about real, tangible benefits here. For one, it makes sure the tech teams are actually building stuff that the business needs. It forces conversations between teams and stakeholders that, let's be honest, probably wouldn't happen otherwise, like we saw with the program board. It drags all those tricky dependencies out into the light. It also makes sure you're not trying to cram 10 pounds of work into a 5-pound bag, you know? It matches the work to what teams can actually do. And maybe the biggest win of all? When everyone shares the same plan and context, you don't have to wait for permission for every little thing. Teams can make smart decisions on their own and move way, way faster.
So as we wrap this up, what's the one big idea to hold on to? I think it's this. PI planning is really about changing the entire energy of an organization.
It's about shifting from just being busy, a bunch of separate teams all doing their own thing, to being truly aligned. It's about becoming one single, unified team pulling in the same direction. And that really brings us to the final question I want to leave you with. Think about your own organization. I'm sure it's busy. Everyone is busy. But is it aligned?